Well, hello again. Just got back from work. I just thought I'd do a little video today. I like sharing little thoughts like this, and it seems so funny to me. So this, we hope, will be brief, right? Can you please be brief for a change? And I'm still waiting for those endorsement checks. This time, Modelo, don't tell me the check is in the mail, okay? I want to see it. That's all that advertising revenue. Well, so far I amounted nothing. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you a little story today. We went down to Good Samaritan again, me and my helper guy, Marty. And gosh, farting around, trying to clear a drain on the second floor, kitchen sink. So we just made a complete mess. Marty, I told him to get started cutting on that iron down there, and he was on the first floor, and I was up on the second, and we were trying to figure this thing out. And he got a little dinky hole in the side about that big and in the iron, and it was beginning to ooze out. When you're dealing with cast iron, there's this black goo that forms up in there that's really gnarly. I mean, it's nasty, and I don't know what it is. It's a byproduct of the iron. You won't see this stuff in PVC drains. You just don't. But boy, you see it everywhere in the iron drain. So anyway, the darn thing's backed up again. So anyhow, I thought to myself, see what you can do. And all of a sudden I hear him yelling down there, hey, Mike, come on down here quick. And I went, what's going on? So I went down. Poor guy. He was just covered in muck. That black nasty was all over him. It was all over the wall. It was all over the carpet. We had spread out plastic. It went beyond the plastic. It was on the tools. It was on the ladder, everywhere. And I said, oh boy. So I said, step away from it. We'll try to capture some of this stuff and get it outdoors right away, so we don't, because I don't want this black stuff all the way up and down the hallway, okay? We're going to try to contain this mess. So we kind of went into containment mode and, kind of cleaned it up as best we could, which wasn't too good with a vacuum cleaner. And so we had to call in a commercial carpet cleaner, and that guy showed up. He did a real nice job. So I was glad about that. But anyway, we fussed and farted around and for hours and hours, and we never did get the darn drain cleared upstairs. This poor lady's been without a drain for 10 days now. And Marty and I are the fourth, who've been in from the company I work with, Maddox Plumbing. And we still are no closer to solving it the day we first walked in. There's a stoppage in there somewhere we can't figure out. Well, now I know where to look at least. I was told when we got in there that the stoppage was 3 feet down from the top drain. So I said, well, let's look at that. Well, there's a 45 right in there. And I thought, well, hey, no way is 45 going to hold that stuff back. So when Marty, that thing began to ooze, he started with the vacuum cleaner. And boy, when that thing went, it just took off. It just spewed everywhere. And so we cleaned it up, and I said, Marty, that's what plumbing's all about, man. I mean, I would have done the same thing you did. That's why they call it plumbing. Anyway, put the darn thing together, and the darn thing still stopped up. But anyway, I thought, at the very end of the day, I thought, well, I'm just going to do a little experiment. So 108, the drain is cleared. 108 runs fine. 208, no. 308, no. So something's tagged in there in a sympathetic. Those two drains above us are still locked up. We don't know where to search. I think I do. I looked down today once the wall was open. I think it's right below the drain for 108. I think that's the problem. But why our sewer guys couldn't get a cable through there? I mean, it wouldn't go. So I don't know what we're getting into. But at any rate, we're going to try to deal with it tomorrow, bring a machine in and try to whack that sucker and make it happen. On my way out the door, I thought, well, I'm going to get a brainwave. So I do remember how long I counted, because I just did. Because, when you're dealing with a backed up drain, you don't know if you cleared it or not. So I thought, I'm just going to count the seconds, how long the water runs, and to see if it shows back up here at the sink. Sure enough, it did. About 26, 28 seconds. So I got another 5-gallon bucket, filled up the thing with 26, 28 seconds. It was about a gallon in there. Okay, that's what I needed to know. So I went outdoors and I downloaded this Bing chat thing. It's supposedly artificial intelligence is going to take over the world. This thing is so stupid. It's unbelievable. Because it doesn't really know what a gallon of water is. It doesn't know what an inch is. It doesn't know what a cubic inch is. It can say all those words and string them together as if it did. But it showed me its formula. Boy, I wish I had a screenshot of that. The formula it was using began with $2 signs, literally in the math, $2 signs. That was the first. And then there's another $sign at the end with some junk in the middle, and it did mention pi in there somewhere. And I thought, well, they got the pi part right. Unbelievable. I came home and asked GPT 3.5, which you type in, it got it right first try. So at any rate, the answer is about 74 inches of rise. That's how much, and that's about what we had clear, 6 feet. So I think the stoppage is right below where Marty blew the drain up. And if only I had thought about it while I was there, we could have tried pouring water in that thing while the drain was open. I bet you it would have backed up. We would have known by then. Anyway, didn't think of it. So anyway, that's what I called today. And so I asked the Bing chat, I said, well, look here. I've got a stopped up drain. It's a 2-inch rise. We poured in a gallon. I can't see it because the pipe isn't, transparent. How many inches of rise would you expect would be about a good guess? And it ran around and it did all this stuff. It mentioned how many cubic inches are in a gallon and this and that and the other thing. And it did mention 3.14 in there somewhere. It did the math and it came up with this convoluted thing of about 0.5 inches. I said, and I asked another question. I said, I find it very difficult to believe that by pouring 1 gallon of water into a 2-inch pipe, into a standing column of water, it would only rise 1/2 of 1 inch after adding a gallon into a 2-inch pipe. And the thing insisted it was correct. And it showed me the formula again, just to make sure we all know that we're all on the up and up here, with the $signs and stuff. So I just thought, well, I stopped and talked. There's a guy at the office. He does all the bookkeeping for about 3 or 4 businesses. They all share the same building. And this he does it all. He's a bookkeeper guy, computer guy, tax guy. I mean, he's everything. So anyway, I told him, hey, Mike, good news. You don't have to worry about, with the AI revolution that you're going to be replaced. Next year, if some poor accountant somewhere in H&R Block or somewhere is stumped on a tax question, whatever you do, don't ask Bing Chat. If you do, you're probably going to jail. The math this thing comes up with, and it thinks it makes perfectly good sense. And I've done this and I've challenged it before. Now, I didn't challenge it this time because I didn't have time to run the numbers to find the actuals. I forgot what's the word. It's like 73.5 inches or 78, depending. I can't remember. But anyway, it's a little over 6 foot of rise, which would make sense with what we were looking at. We had 6 feet clear because when Marty blew up the bottom, I was able to pour water from the top right to him, and he caught it in a bucket. Went right on through. The stoppage is not where we were told it was. So that part's clear. Where's the stop? Somewhere down below. And how in the world that affects drain floor 3 as a separate drain makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's got to be coincidental that there's 2 consecutive stops, sink on top of sink, because I don't see how they're tied together. It doesn't make any sense. But at any rate, maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, the short version is I just wanted to kind of share that with you, that when you do math or ask GPT stuff to do math, sometimes it's okay. The 3.5 version nailed it, got it right the first time. But it's come up with some wacky math, and what you do is when you know the right answer, you can challenge it and say, hey, look, that can't be correct. And then you show, in a math formula way, how it should work. It should have been pi times radius squared, which in this case is 1 because it's a 2-inch pipe. So it turns out 3.14 is your divider into 231 per cubic inch, Comes out 78 or 73 or whatever it is. And it'll say, oh, I see. Yeah, I see I made a mistake. And then you ask it, okay, so what's the correct value then? And it'll give you the same, after it admitted it was wrong, it'll give you the same crazy answer that it did the first time. So that's your AI update. Everybody's kind of bragging up AI like it's the hottest rod in the town, and it's, oh boy, it's going to take off and run everything and all that stuff. I'll tell you what, man, if this thing was in charge of a traffic stop, I wouldn't take its word on anything. If this thing was in charge of, whether a parking space was open or not, I wouldn't trust this thing. It's dumber than dumb, man. But it thinks it's smart, and it can twirl words around like crazy and string all kinds of sentences together, but it doesn't know anything real. It's never been in the world. It doesn't know what a gallon of water even is, really, except the words gallon of water. And so I just kind of wanted to encourage you today. Humans are are still ahead of the AI and the foot race toward third grade mathematical supremacy. But they can do a lot of other stuff too. I mean, I don't want to say they're completely worthless, but I just so enjoyed the idea that you're going to pour a gallon of water into a stuck column of water that's just standing still and won't move, and it's going to rise 1/2 an inch after adding 1 gallon. And I was so tempted to say, well, you know, I think I could bring it up 1/2 inch with about 6 tablespoonfuls. What's all the other water for? So, you guys have a good day. Feel good about yourself, because you're a human being, and you're the genuine article. You're the one the mighty maker set in motion, and he's got a plan for you. Now, his plan for that thing, as far as I can tell, is the scrap heap. After he starts it on fire. Have a good day. Bye-bye.